Yes, sir.
You're working on a project, like with the doing it on VS Code, or
I would suggest like as soon as we take a break or start working, download one of the IDEs and start using it. I would not use just because it's, you know, learning is a little difficult. Stop using Visual Studio Code just for this one. Just for this one. Back to the next one. That's fine.
yeah.
I heard you.
Someone's not muted, so there's like in the recording, there's no echo.
Okay. And it's me. I'm sorry. No, it's not me. They are okay. Yeah, we don't need that.
You're an on-call best man or what? You're an on-call best man? Someone's getting mad at the best man and send it for video.
Oh, it's still recording. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to make a new directory on my desktop. Call it hello. I think I already have something, hello demo. Hello. Let's just call it hello. Okay, so I just made a directory called hello. I opened it in Visual Studio Code. Yes, thank you. Yeah, you didn't miss much. There we go. Now you guys see my screen. Sorry about that. Okay, so I just made a file called hello, or a folder called hello, and I changed into it and opened it in Visual Studio Code. Okay. So I want to make a Java program. So what do? New file. I'm going to call it main. Main.java. Okay, so let's just get it to say hello world. So what do I need first? I need a class. And it has to be what name? Right, whatever I name my file. So class main. And then what's the main entry point? No, thank you for telling me. I haven't used this in like, so if I just share the screen, that's probably better, right? Now you guys see Visual Studio Code? Cool, awesome. What? Don't mess with me, man. Okay. Public static void main. So if I in Visual, I'm sorry? Not every class. There's one main class. Just like we have one file, server.py, which is our starting point. We have one main class that is like the entry point for our application. Yeah. Sure. Is that good? So in Visual Studio Code, in most IDEs, if I type P, S, V, M, tab, it does it for you. So how do I get it to say hello world? Yeah. And again, there's a shortcut. Learn the shortcuts because there's no way to remember what's capitalized, what's lowercase. So S out is system.out.println. And then this, so system is class or an object, out is a method, and then no. System is the class, out is the method. I forget. Anyway, so in order to print, we need this all this stuff, right? We got to use our system class, call the out method, call the print method, and then put in here whatever we want to print. So if I say hello world, so how do I get it to run?
Java C or
Yeah, so if I want to run it from the command line, I type Java C and then the name of the file. Okay. So if I run that, nothing happens except I get this .class file, right? So that's the bytecode that's generated when it's compiled. Okay, so you can't see this. This is just like, I don't even know if it's zeros and ones. It's just like, it's not human readable. Okay, so now how do I get hello world to appear in my terminal? Yeah, Java and then main. I don't need the class. I guess I do. Java main. Uh-oh. Did I save it? I did. There we go. That was weird. Okay. Hello world. Any questions? It's not a whole folder. It's a file. But yeah. Yeah. So that brings me to my next point. So generally we want our stuff in separate packages, separate files, right? So if I want to print hello world, generally you want to keep your main class as lean as possible, right? So I'm going to make a package. And a package is just like in Python, it's just a folder. So I'm going to call it my utils. And then inside that package, I can make another Java class. We'll call it my stuff.java. Okay, and now my Visual Studio Code's working and auto-populating this stuff for me. So notice the package, it says what the package name is. So if I want to write a function that prints hello world, how do I do that? So we only write the public static void main one time. So any other methods we write in a class, we just use the public keyword. We say what the return type is going to be. Okay, so since we're printing to the screen, we're not returning anything, so the return type is just void. And then we name our function. So I'm just going to call it say hello. Then in here, I can do my print statement. Okay.
what's the difference?
The first time I wrote, I'm executing code inside of my main function. You generally don't want to do that. You want to call functions. This is going to be just the entry point. This should be like server.py was real short. This class should be real short. Okay, so this should just be like it starts the row, the dominoes falling.
So if you go back to the other folder now,
Mm-hmm.
so there you have your function public void, right?
Yeah.
That's your function. And if you want to write another line,
Like another function?
you have to create another function.
Yeah. If I say public void, I almost spelled your name wrong again. Is that right?
Actually, I believe that's the correct spelling, but the way I write it.
Okay. I'm going to write it the way you write it. Oh, let me do this. Will that work? Why not? Invalid character constant Java, blah, blah, blah. So in Java, we make a distinction between strings and characters. So if we want to have a character, we have single quotes. We want it to be a string, it's got to be double quotes. Let's see, does it automatically fix it for me?
Show me for bags.
Of course not.
The one public ones. Hey.
I forgot my comment. Okay. Single quotes are for single characters. So like the letter A, we want just that character, we put it in single quotes. That just shows that's the Visual Studio Code telling me that. Okay, so now I want to call this function inside of my main class. So instead of doing this, I want to use my function to print hello world. Okay, so I'm going to see if it'll autocomplete for me. So if I want to use a function, I need to, well, how do I do it in Python? If a class car has a function drive, can I just call capital C car.drive? If I have a class car and the car has an instance method drive, can I just call capital C car.drive? If it's a class method, right? But if it's an instance method, I need an instance, right? Same thing in Java. So if I want to use this method that lives in my stuff.java, I need to make an instance of that class. So in main, I'm going to say my stuff. Will it auto import for me? Yeah, you really want to use an IDE because this kind of sucks. So I need to import it. Yeah, so I need to say my utils dot, where is it, import? Yeah, there we go. Now it's doing it. So that imports my stuff. So every time we create a variable, we have to say what type it is. So we can't just say, you know, name equals Tyler. We have to say string name equals Tyler. So same thing here, we have to say what type our variable is. Our variable is of type my stuff, because that's my class. So I'm going to say my stuff ms equals new my stuff. Now I have an instance of that class that I can call my function on. So if I say, now I can say ms dot, what did I say? What do I call it? Say hello. Okay. So now if I run this, it's saying hello. But I also made a method for metric, right? I said my stuff dot, I'm sorry, ms dot say hi to metric. Okay, so again, I'm going to take that class or that instance of the class, call the method on it. Okay, let's see if I can say hi to metric. Just says say hello. What's going on?
Oh, it's calling.
Stupid computer's not working. Say that again. Say it again. We didn't compile it. Everybody repeat after me. We didn't compile it. Okay, every time you make a change, you got to recompile. Okay, it's not interpreted. We got to redo that again. So we're going to run Java C. Well, like I told you, Java C main dot Java. Now, if I say Java main, I get my expected output. Yeah, it's fun. You're gonna grow to love it. I promise.
I don't understand like that. So what is MS?
MS is the instance of my class. Well, it is.
Oh.
But I could have called this anything. I could have called it Tyler. I could have called it, doesn't matter.
So
Right?
if you said like Tyler class, then the TC.
Yeah, yeah. But again, this could be, since Ed's not here,
Okay.
right? Doesn't matter. I decided to call this whatever I want.
And so you're saying that that equals the new function, which is the two below it?
Yes. Yeah. So this is an instance of my stuff. Right? Just like we had car and we said, you know, car equals car, capital car, parentheses. That's what we're doing here. We're making an instance, but the confusing part is, and I know this is where you're getting hung up, is this, right?
Yeah.
We have to say what type of variable is when we declare it. Okay? If it's not clear right now, it'll become more clear once we talk about variables. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. But what if you went back and just named it MS? Is it just purely because you changed it in the first place that has to be watermelon? Like you change it to watermelon, save it, and then you're like, you know what, never mind. Let me go back to MS.
Then you would need to, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it'll still work. If I do this, it's still going to work, but it's still running the old code. It's running it as MS. Okay. So what is this? String arguments. What do the square curly brace, not curly braces, square brackets mean? Sort of, not really. Okay. This means that args is an array of strings. Okay, so we have the option of passing arguments into our application when we call it. So if I want to see what this is, I can say sout args. Remember to recompile. And there we go. So this is args. I don't either. No, seriously. So this is how Java represents arrays. It gives you this kind of weird notation and then the memory location where the array is. Okay, so the quickest, easiest way to get what's in an array is this. Arrays.toString, and then you pass in what you want to, that's too big, huh? Let me zoom out. Okay, so this will print out, instead of printing that unhelpful symbol, basically, this will print what's in the array. So now if I recompile, run it again, now I get an empty array. Okay. Yeah, so I use the arrays package, called this toString method, and then I pass my array into it. That'll give you a string version of the array. So now if I call this, if I say java.main, this is what args is. So now I have access to those strings that I typed in when I called my program. Okay, so this is just a way to pass stuff in to your program when you first call it. No, just for this. Yeah. Then we would do something with it. Wow, time flies. Okay. Any questions?
So when you do that, like, system out thing, what is that, like, good for? Like, in what instance?
Debugging.
Debugging.
Yeah.
So, like, you could put, like, an error code in there, and then the rate error would show up if there's something wrong with your code. Like,
Yeah, more like to find out what a variable, like the value of a variable at a certain point, that kind of thing. Just like console log. It's basically console log. All right.